As coronavirus has spread across the country, it's been up to each state to figure out how to combat it and what that means for the businesses that have been forced to close. The restaurant industry is now facing $240 billion in annual losses because the restaurants have largely shuttered their dining rooms and are trying to make up the difference through takeout and delivery. Reopening is now starting across the country, and as the rollout continues, it's creating unique challenges for restaurants with locations in multiple states that now have to navigate pandemic operations under conflicting guidelines. Rhombus Guy's Pizza is located in Grand Forks, a city split by the Red River that extends into both North Dakota and Minnesota. Its 2 locations in North Dakota can now serve customers at 50% capacity. But the 3rd location in Minnesota has been surviving on takeout sales and won't reopen until June 1st.
So I was driving from our Grand Forks location here to our Fargo location just before St. Patrick's Day. And on the radio, the President of the United States broke in. And he didn't say hard and fast, you have to stay home at that point. But at that point, he said that he recommended that people do not go out to eat at restaurants. And it was exactly at that moment I knew that we were in for trouble. We're kind of in a unique position that we have both pizza restaurants in North Dakota as well as in Minnesota. And it's a seasonal location. And so it was not open up when the initial news came out and the pandemic came down. And so we were really focused on North Dakota. These are our full-time restaurants, our much larger restaurants. Since then, we've now opened up in Minnesota at our seasonal location. So I kind of had to start learning what was going on over there. Minnesota has put down similar guidelines and similar restrictions to what North Dakota did. They came down with the restrictions before North Dakota in terms of closing down restaurants and bars and only allowing dine-in and carry-out, and they've held on to that longer than North Dakota. And so still currently in Minnesota, it is only takeout and delivery. They also were much slower to allow and to adopt the order of allowing restaurants to provide beer, wine, and liquor with their carry-out and delivery. In fact, still to this day, they don't allow it for delivery, and they only allow beer and wine for takeout.
The pandemic has also put the local government under pressure to both address the needs of small business and contain the spread of the virus in the community.
Well, Grand Forks and East Grand Forks have been communicating about how we keep each other safe. And Grand Forks people do go across the river to do takeout and curbside delivery. And so I think we're working hard to keep each other economically healthy. So it's constant communication, we respect each other's rules, and then we want to keep each other safe. Well, the difficulty coordinating our guidelines between North Dakota and Minnesota is like they're staying in place, but they have jobs over here. So then they get to come across the border and then work here, but following the CDC guidelines to keep safe. And then they go home, but there I guess they shelter in place for another 2 weeks. But here we're doing the Grand Forks and the North Dakota Smart Restart to get things back more to normal.
We were trying to figure out how we were going to stay alive as a business and what was that going to look like. And we knew that we needed to pivot our business model and do whatever we could, because we had made the decision that we were going to stay open. We were going to do what we could to try to generate revenue. I know other restaurants in town and across the state just shut down. They didn't even attempt to do carry out or delivery. Well, the pizza model lends itself fairly nicely to that model. We already did a significant amount of carry out and of delivery. Throughout all of this, different guidelines have been passed down to restaurants, whether it's shut down for dine-in and only do carry-out and delivery. Okay, here's PPP money, lay everybody off, now bring everybody back. Okay, now you're allowed to open up, but you're allowed to open up within these guidelines. And so we feel like we're constantly pivoting and changing business models and trying to figure out how to successfully move forward, both for the business and the financial side, but also the safety side of the staff and of our guests. Where the difficulty comes in is more on the people side of things and in the financial side of things. And so the state may say, okay, you guys can open up, but you have to open up within this realm. And then we go and we talk to our staff, and the staff says, whoa, this is really too quick. And us as business owners say, yeah, you know what, it does feel like it's too quick. And how do we do this safely? And how do we pivot again? And how do we make both our employees feel comfortable as well as guests coming in? The difficult thing is the mental side of it. Are we comfortable going up to a table and interacting with people now again? Are we comfortable with people walking through the front door?
I think that our local businesses are handling the stress that's been put on them by the virus by reacting cautiously. Because when the governor opened things up again, some people were thinking, oh, it's going to be business as normal. But some restaurants were reluctant to open because if your restaurant gets tagged as a COVID-19 focus, then your business is going to suffer from that. So they were very cautious in reopening, and they made their employees wear personal protective equipment. And they're encouraging their customers to wear personal protective equipment as well as the physical distancing. So I think our businesses are anxious to get back to normal, but they're being very cautious because, as I said before, this is highly contagious and potentially fatal. So we have deep roots here, and I think it's a lot of caring back and forth, and I think that we want our neighbors to succeed and they want us to succeed. So I think that's why we work together, and we have a common goal. But it says we're a community with a river running through it, not two separate states. But those guidelines sometimes by the governors do cause like they're shelter in place, and we're stay at home, which is very different. So I think we work it out, and we support each other, and we shop over there to keep their businesses healthy, and they shop and work here to keep our community healthy.
From my limited experience over the last week of seeing how this smart restart happens, is I think there's going to be lingering effects of this, and not small lingering effects, but large lingering effects of this. Even having just been open for a week, I think that our staff is feeling a little more comfortable, in the way of dealing with people, as long as we're doing it in a smart manner, keeping people separated. And I think that, people coming in are seeing that it can be done in a safe way, but I don't see people flocking back to busy, packed restaurants and or rooftops anytime soon. So I think it's going to take some time, and we fully believe that the year 2020 is more or less shot for us in terms of business. We happen to be, a relatively strong financial company, and so we're lucky. We feel like we can come out of this on the other side. I want the community and the people to realize, hey, these are the local businesses. These are the ones that are important to our community. These are the identity of our community. They worked really hard during this whole pandemic to keep their staff safe, to keep the guests safe, and we need to support them coming out the other side. And that's what I want to see at the end of all of this.